Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game, Sock versus Soin. This game taking place here on Amazonia. On the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have Sock spawning as the blue human, going up against Soin, who is spawning as the yellow orc. Should be a great matchup for you guys. Overlay is now working. Hopefully no issues with replays as the game is getting underway. Gonna take, gotta keep track of timing here, whether it's going to be an early barracks, and it will be an early barracks, so not a very fast tech to tier 2. No war mill as of yet, so difficult to say if it's going to be Farseer or Blade Master. Meanwhile, well, Sock probably going to be going for that classic and true Archmage and Footman opening, followed by perhaps some rifles casters, perhaps try and set up an expo with that blacksmith. Human players in the original patch were designed to be able to expand easily. And that was one of their racial identities. Apparently, well, the players said otherwise, and now Undead also has the ability to expand early. So it just goes to show you that the game is ever-changing, ever evolving, as players found new ways to do things, such as selling those scrolls of Town Portal early in order to, make changes. And I think that's one of the reasons why WarCraft 3, at least for me in the opening stages, is a lot more exciting than, say, some of the other builds out there. The units tend to be a little bit more beefy, though, and they're able to fight back against worker harassment. So that's something that you often more see in, say, StarCraft 2. But, well, that topic is for another time. One thing I will say though, Battle Aces, the beta will be coming out in, the next round of beta will be coming out in November, and I just had a lot of fun playing at Battle Aces. Oh, that ensnare could be a problem. There's going to be a slow coming down. I'm now going to go ahead and try and engage. There's an ensnare there, as well, slow is being thrown down here, but the rock golem not using that boulder toss, which is incredibly important. The mud golem is using slow though. We'll see how effective that is. The Sock unfortunately got ensnared on that footman. That footman taking far too much damage than normal, so not a clean execution clearing out of this creep camp. Something that I'm sure Sock has practiced dozens and dozens of times, but well, ultimately not being nearly as effective as he normally could be. All right, a rogue, apprentice wizards, this is all going to get cleared out. Arcane tower already getting upgraded. It looks like Sock may be going for that expo here in just a moment, but needs a lot more lumber. Currently sitting at 139. Gonna go ahead, perhaps retreat back here, collect more lumber instead, as we're still doing a little bit more creeping. Now you can see all of these peasants off over here. They're collecting lumber off on the side, but are they really going to try and return it to the at that other position? That's my question there. This is a 5-3-3 creep camp. Workers are finally getting ready to settle down here, as the Archmage sits at level 2. I believe he will be able to get to level 3 or be just shy, as this expo now getting up and running. All right, lumber is still the problem there. Archmage sitting at level 3. You can see all of these guys trying to do some work here, as this Spirit Wolf could get cleaned up. Arcane Tower already completed, and well, that gets taken down. Farseer going to try to make its way over. Chain Lightning bouncing around. 2 dead peasants already, as another low hit point peasant trying to hide in the far back. Is he going to jump into the gold mine? He could easily do that. Jump into the gold mine. Does jump into the gold mine, waiting for it, but that wolf still get that last attack there. Militia being called over, more peasants being trained to replace the ones that were lost, as the Archmage battling up against a Farseer. Farseer has gloves of haste, Archmage has the claws of attack, and now, well, 2 additional Spirit Wolves. That does make a difference there, as the Archmage says, surprise, you can't see me. Coming back around here, Militia gonna turn back into their peasant form. Those dire wolves now up to 350 hit points. That could spell some problems, as the peasant gonna try to jump inside. He's gonna be able to jump inside temporarily, loses aggro on the wolves. Nicely done there, as the peasants now perhaps trying to get back to work. Meanwhile, coming back around, couple of headhunters getting cleaned up here. Footmen do not have defend. I don't think it's being researched yet. Lumber is still a big issue as the arcane tower is now finally up. One footman going to try and engage here. You can see a little bit of easy damage. That arcane tower should be more than enough to handle these wolves, as the wolves do take additional bonus damage because they are summoned units. Footman still engaging here. Archmage trying to exchange blows. There's a couple of headhunters, a couple of grunts, but those wolves are really diving in on those other targets. Another grunt down to 119 hit points. Archmage does have boots of speed and really trying to go after that grunt there. One more final shot is going to be enough as we see Soin get in the deny. Clean deny there. Meanwhile, Footman still running around across the map off to the north. You're going to see this Farseer perhaps try and dive in as well. 24 supply compared to 33. Tech to tier 2 is done. Tauren Chieftain nearly done. You can see Bestiary, one Bestiary nearly completed as well. So a definite tech advantage coming across for Orc. The question is, are we going to see a deny there? No, no deny. Archmage was closer, even though the Farseer got the attack off first. Travel distance making a making a difference in that fight there. All right, Footmen coming across here. New wolves. Peasants are still trying to gather up more lumber. You can see another peasant getting taken out. Farseer getting in a lot of worker kills, and we're still seeing the arcane tower doing quite a bit of work. Tauren Chieftain now making its way down. Archmage says, you know what, maybe I can drop in some water elementals, get in some more damage onto these orc burrows, and perhaps that can stop the training of additional units as the peons are now coming in across, trying to get in multiple repairs. Are we going to try to drop another water elemental? There's another water elemental there. That's going to be a large amount of damage as a lot of orc burrow repairing. Meanwhile, the peasants are getting cleaned up. There's a shockwave ripping on through. Poor day to be a peasant, as well, apparently the Orc Farseer and the Tauren Chieftain don't quite care for them at all. Arcane Tower removing all of the precious mana, but the Tauren Chieftain did get in some shockwaves. We are getting in some repairs now, as more militia now being called over. Meanwhile, Water Elemental trying to fight back here. The Raiders gonna easily clean up that water elemental, making just a big splash only as the Tauren Chieftain takes down that arcane tower. One scout tower is under upgrade as the Tauren Chieftain and the Farseer are trying to retreat back. You're still seeing that guard tower. Perhaps is it going to get canceled? I don't think so. I believe it was actually destroyed there. Water Elemental making its way over. Archmage needing to heal up here at the tech to tier 2, about 2/3 of the way done. All right, 31 supply compared to 35. Water Elemental trying to get in some of that poke damage. Should really splash some damage onto that Tauren Chieftain, prevent the healing. But no, the Tauren Chieftain is just going to continue to get more and more hit points as we now see a blacksmith added to the frontier. New scout tower being placed down. Yeah, without the blacksmith, without all of the other frontline buildings, it's been far too easy for the orc army to just dive in here. Archmage does get up to 125 mana, so we'll be able to drop a level, another level 2 water elemental here. Meanwhile, Archmage still, trying to run around a bit in circles. Is that Footman going to get taken down to 23 hit points? He gets denied as the Direwolf still doing quite a bit of chasing. All right, Footman trying to go after the Raiders. The Raiders, playing a game of keep away while ensnaring some of those Footmen down. And as those Footmen are getting ensnared down, they're suffering damage and getting picked off. Archmage tries to come back around, does have a scroll of regeneration. Mountain King needs to make a presence, a quick presence here as the Archmage unable to deny that there. There goes another ensnare. And so far, Sock is in a lot of trouble. Cloak of Shadows once more being used, able to reposition himself again. There's the shockwave ripping on through. Mountain King finally getting trained, and really the part of this game has been just lumber issues for Sock and being set behind maybe by 5 or 10 seconds, and that's all Soin has needed to really press advantages. All right, Tauren Chieftain backs away. Raiders are now coming across as well. We could see a couple more ensnares as the Raiders, some of the lower hit point ones, getting healed up. Arcane Sanctum now getting trained. Goblin Shredder off to work here. Archmage trying to drop in some more water elementals, trying to cover in a little bit more. And we're seeing a little bit of poke damage Is this going to be enough here? We're still looking at, well, more fighting coming on through as the Farseer nearly gets taken down, able to escape away at 160 hit points. Meanwhile, Archmage has a potion of healing. Is he going to get taken down to 32 hit points? Scroll of Town Portal at the last second. Stormbolt onto the Tauren Chieftain. Militia trying to fight their way through, and the Scroll of Town Portal frees the Tauren Chieftain. Archmage had a potion of healing, was forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal, but the Scroll of Town Portal was actually, well, the units were actually surrounding that Tauren Chieftain, and somehow a Scroll of Town Portal saved 2 heroes from getting taken out. Not something you see every day, as the Goblin Shredder now clearing out all of this lumber, the necessary, getting the necessary wood to, well, be able to train up, get another Arcane Sanctum, and get more units out on the battlefield. All right, could be careful here. There is an Arcane Sanctum being built, a 3rd Arcane Sanctum. All right, so triple Arcane Sanctums. I think this is more of a gap plug to make sure that units aren't able to run in easily. We are looking at a 2nd Arcane Sanctum already done. Sorceress is trying to get trade up. We do no longer have an Arcane Vault. What does that mean? That means that there's not going to be any spell breakers. Arcane Tower trying to clear up this back way, but the Goblin Shredder pretty much mined out this entire opening, and now suddenly, well, Soin can capitalize on this. There's that Arcane Vault that well, needs to be replaced. Archmage continuing the fight, does have a potion of healing, does have a clarity potion. He's trying to continue to fight his way through. Is he going to be able to get some damage onto that Tauren Chieftain? Constantly getting ensnared and, well, trying to back away. Goblin Zeppelin does pick him up. That Goblin Zeppelin currently ensnared down, though, as, well, we're going to see a Kodo Beast finally getting cleaned up. All right, continuing to pick off all of these units. So many peasants being trained in order to turn into militia. The Goblin Shredder still working his way through. All of this caused because the Goblin Shredder, well, where it was clearing out the trees was not monitored. Archmage is inside here. There's some, well, there is some water elementals there. Militia now back to their normal peasant selves as they're going to try and retreat as the Tauren Chieftain gets to level 3. This has just been non-stop battle action here, continuing to push all of this pressure. Priest now out on the battlefield. Another peasant gets taken down as the Arcane Vault was, well, just shy of, well, now getting now completed, but what else can be done? Archmage, well, is in a tough spot. That Goblin Zeppelin is just constantly getting ensnared, not allowing him to elevator over back into the base. Did we see some Spellbreakers getting trained? No, we didn't. We perhaps need to see some more footmen, or perhaps get to tier 3 for some knights. This has just been an absolute battle here as the Tauren Chieftain tries to escape away at 99 hit points. Archmage could hop on out and take out this here. Does he realize that the Archmage is just sitting in the Goblin Zeppelin, or is this replay perhaps bugged? Mountain King going to get surrounded here. Tauren Chieftain falls at level 3. Mountain King falls at level 2. Goblin Shredder still fighting as we're looking at, well, as we're looking at the peasants getting cleaned up here. All right, Goblin Shredder continuing to battle it up. I honestly cannot tell if this replay is bugged or not. More militia being called, more peasants getting trained up. There goes their Archmage is back on out. Yes, so after all that time, Archmage finally makes his way out from that fight there. I wonder what Sok was thinking. The Archmage would have been extremely helpful in that battle earlier as the Mountain King now trying to get resurrected. Mountain King was at level 2, remember. Peasants now coming over to repair, and this is all, well, one base versus one base since the main base is barely doing any mining. Back over here at the Expo, now very well fortified, perhaps getting in improved armor upgrade. Oh, building another Altar of Kings? All right. Apparently, Sok is seeing to it to build another Altar of Kings down to the south here, just in case the one off to the north was pressured a bit too much. Archmage now coming back over. Are we perhaps going to see some repairs? That's a lot of guard towers. That's a lot of slow. One raider getting taken down. Another raider about to get taken down as well. Well, is it going to be enough to hold on to it? Masonry upgrade could have been very helpful. Nope, not holding steady. But at what cost? A lot of raiders getting taken out here. But the Expo is now down. 660 gold in the bank here. Mountain King not giving chase. And, well, having to rebuild here. Masonry upgrade would have been the difference. And an additional point of armor and a couple additional points of hit points was all you would have needed, as the Archmage now holds at level 4. Sok, after holding back that onslaught, seems to be okay. He's He could be in a better position, but economically speaking, he's good. He is going to be running up on an additional base here. We can see all of these farms here to prevent raiders from easily diving in. Still surprised that we don't see at least level 1 masonry upgrade, but then again, the masonry upgrades were debuffed many moons ago, and since then hasn't been nearly as important. Tauren Chieftain now out on the battlefield with level 2 Shockwave. And with that, well, all of these small, low hit point buildings could get lined up and knocked down. That may be the strategy here as the Tauren Chieftain now makes his way over. Level 3 Tauren Chieftain. Are we going to see a Shockwave Arcane Tower right there? And in comes the Raiders already. All right, trying to get in a little bit of positioning. Raiders coming back across. Are we going to see a Stormbolt? Yes, Stormbolt straight up onto one of the Raiders. We're going to see a couple of ensnares as one Raider going to get taken down. Level 5 now on the Archmage. Shockwave going against all of the Sorceresses in the back. All right, a lot of slow across all of those units. More Water Elementals as the Mountain King gets up to level 3. Level 2 Thunderclap. There's that clap there, slowing down and dealing even more damage as the units are dizzied and or slowed and Thunderclapped and struck as well. So there's another Thunderclap there. That Mountain King getting in some big damage with that Thunderclap. Now needs quite a bit more mana. Perhaps buying a potion of mana would make sense, as well as the Kodo Beast gets cleaned up here. All right, Kodo Beast does have a peasant in the belly. There's another Thunderclap here, and suddenly the Mountain King turns things around. 3 level 2 Thunderclaps later, and the entire Orc army seems to have just melted away. All right, units trying to run away. No scroll of speed. We could be looking at a dead Grunt there. Grunt getting denied. Mountain King continuing to come back through. Shockwave, well, dodged by the workers in that backline as the Archmage trying to still stay alive here. All right, still more damage. Are we going to see another Mountain King? Yes, getting another love tap onto that Raider. All right, both sides still fighting through. A couple of workers. Well, no workers joining in on the fight any longer. Archmage using a potion of invulnerability, able to stay alive here. Mountain King still has enough mana for a Stormbolt, and that may be enough to hit the reset button and allow fresh life and a fresh chance on that Archmage. Archmage is using a scroll of regeneration. It could also benefit from some healing, as well as the Mountain King with boots of speed attempting to chase down that Farseer. However, with the Mountain King only sitting on a level 1 Stormbolt, not the level 2 variety, didn't want to try and finish it off. All right. Mountain King quickly gets purged, trying to dive in here. Archmage should perhaps be backing away. Forest Troll Berserker going to get trained up here as the Mountain King, well, big damage across all of these units, slowing them all down. The priests are there. There's going to be a couple more purges as well. Mountain King picking up a tome. Meanwhile, Farseer, Tauren Chieftain, making his way back in from the north. 42 over 71 supply now. Archmage going to get ensnared. He could get separated. This is going to be a problem as the Archmage is now just kind of trapped up against a corner. Mountain King going to go ahead and give that Thunderclap there, slowing the attacks of the Raiders and dealing a good amount of damage. Meanwhile, Shamans are out here to purge down those Water Elementals as Chain Lightning is removing the entire back line. It is a bad day to be a supporting cast unit in this battle. All the casters are gone. All the Raiders are pretty much lost at this point and stage in the game. One more hit, it's going to get taken down. 46 supply compared to 33. The Chain Wave Chain Lightning Shockwave combination really doing quite a bit of damage, as we're going to see this Kodo Beast try to, well, retreat back. All right, there's a priest right there. Is it invisible? It is invisible. The priest could have gotten in quite a bit of a pathing, as where both sides are still fighting their way through. Archmage does have a Scroll of Town Portal. Units are continuing to give chase here. Mountain King now doing a little bit of separation as the... Are we going to see that wolf getting taken out? Shamans are going to come back around. There's that purge. Are we going to see a double purge to finish it off? Tauren Chieftain getting closer to level 5 as the Shaman ran out of mana. No adept training yet. Water Elemental getting summoned up here. Archmage still backing around here. Priest trying to get in some more heroes. Mountain King has plenty of mana, has enough for a Stormbolt, which is, well, just what the doctor ordered, as the Mountain King still, well, needs to give chase. Is the Mountain King just hanging back here? He needs to get in range of that Brilliance Aura. Otherwise, the Mountain King without mana is truly not that scary. 35 supply compared to 50. Sock seemingly in a great position now. Expo still has plenty of gold to mine. Meanwhile, main base only has a minute and a half. And I think Soin is out of luck here, as any time that Soin uses to try and regroup himself, he's going to find himself even further behind. Sock already sitting on 1,000 gold and mining with no upkeep. So with that 1,000 gold, can easily go into 70 supply here in just a matter of seconds. And just push across. Arcane Tower, Raiders trying to dive in. I believe that is going to end up being the game with no Expo off to the north. Well, Sock able to outlast Soin. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.